So is Enrique Hill ready to love again? Hello everyone! For our one-on-one today, makakausap natin ang isang tinawag na the ultimate leading man. Nawala po siya in television and in movies for a couple of years. He went on hiatus and now he is ready to come back full force. Ang kilalang King of the Hill, walang iba kundi si Enrique Hill. Hello, Enrique.
Hello, Miss Karen. Thank you so much. Thank
No,
you.
I have to say, the last time I saw you was at the farm.
Yes.
We were on vacation, I think, 2 years ago, and you were with your mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I always make sure to at least go there at least twice a year for kolema.
Okay.
Yeah, gotta watch our health.
Pero
Me and my mom.
you're really close to your mother kasi dalawa lang
Yes.
kayo nung nakita ko.
Yes. Very close. Ever since my father passed away, it's just been basically me and her. She took on the role not only a mom but also a dad as well. She's basically all I have. So I'm very close, very very close to her.
And she's protective of you too.
Yes, yeah, in a sense, she's still protective. Kahit lalaki ako, protective pa rin ever since.
Oo.
And I've always been a mama's boy ever since I was young. Kasi yung sister ko, si Andy, mas daddy's girl yun. So ako, I've always been a mama's boy. And parang never magbabago yun. Tsaka ayoko rin magbago yun.
You were at the peak of your career. Tapos medyo you stepped back. 'Di ba? Parang pinili mo na ayaw mo muna gumawa ng pelikula. You were not on television. And it was all Liz Ken, Enrique Hill for so long. What made you do that?
I think it was just, it was the pandemic when everything stopped. And I was just at home. I got to spend time with my family, my mom, my sister, my brother. And, my fast-paced life just stopped. Parang everything just stopped around me. Tumigil yung mundo ko. And I realized a lot of things. Oh my gosh, mama's, getting older. Tapos, my brother also. And my sister, I didn't even realize that she was in college na. Andy, what year are you again in high school? Like, I'm in college already. It's like, wait lang. Parang I missed so much, time with them. And ang sarap lang ng feeling na I was just at home. I was barely home. And, my whole life I gave it to showbiz. And of course, I don't regret anything. Little did I know after the pandemic, bigla na lang my sister nag-migrate na sa ibang bansa. My brother got married, moved out. A lot of stuff happened, past relationships ended, and it was just me and my mom. Even before that, I also felt burned out a lot, starting at like 16, 15, hanggang I was like 30, nonstop, which I'm very grateful for. I just, I was just, I don't know, maybe the fire was just not there anymore. Nawala na yung magic sa akin. I think a little bit of too much is also bad. So I think that break was also necessary for my mind. But at that point, kasi ayoko nang bumalik. Nasanay na ako dito sa tahimik na buhay. I was just at home. And those just uncertain times. So ang daming pumasok sa isip ko na, ayoko na bumalik sa ganung buhay. I'd rather just, spend time with you. Why don't we just work together in a business? At least magkakasama pa tayo. I was at that state, at that ganun na yung focus ko. Okay lang yan. Andiyan naman yung showbiz. Maybe I can come back eventually. But as of now, parang it was just not in my headspace at all. I just didn't have the fire in me or I wasn't just inspired to do it.
Enrique, balikan natin yun. What was your days like? What were they like? What was your schedule like?
It was crazy. As nung simula naman, it wasn't that hectic yet. But when it started to pick up, I was just living in my van, basically, and I would do maybe 2-3 projects at the same time. So from set to set, minsan may ligo, minsan maliligo na lang ako sa location, or I'd just, rent or book for 1 to 2 hours and para lang makaligo and then diretso na sa set. And, I would just sleep and then they'd wake me up. Minsan walang tulog, diretso na. Syempre nung bata kaya pa. But like, yeah, that was my life. Basically, I was sleeping, living in my car.
How did that affect your mental health? Now you're in your early 30s.
Yeah.
You've been doing, imagine, 15 years solid of non-stop work.
Actually, I didn't really realize it at that time. Parang there was... At that time, I was just going with the flow. Whatever comes my way, sige, sasakyan ko na lang. Alam mo yun? So I didn't really think about it. But of course, may time na parang ang hirap din, for somebody so young to be in a position like that. Especially me, I'm the type kasi growing up in school or high school, college, sobrang mahihayin ako. Ayokong sumasali sa plays or, I would always want to be in the backlines or in the backside of things. Ayoko. Basta mahihayin talaga ako. I remember umabot sa punto na I would only have lunch in the classroom kasi ayoko sa canteen. Kasi maraming tao. May ganun ako eh. So, it was never really in my plan to be an artista or to be, in front of the camera or in the limelight.
Oo.
I just wanted, a peaceful life. Tahimik lang. Pero dito ako napunta. And I learned to actually enjoy it, at times. But deep inside talaga, it's not for everyone,
What was the hardest part of fame? Ilan lang kasi ang umaabot sa Liz Ken, J. Dean, Kathniel. Di ba? Iilan lang yun eh.
I think it goes both ways. First of all, you inspire so much people. You've been a part of their life as well, like basically we grew up together with my love team, and parang you grew up in front of the world. But I think it also goes both ways, as I said, when things don't really work out, and of course affected din yung buong mundo.
What is
It's
the
hard.
hardest part of having a love team na it's real to real?
It's hard, but it also helps a lot. Like especially when there's scenes na kailangan namin, to get each other. It's so easy because we know na kaming dalawa lang talaga makakalabas nun. Isang tingin pa lang or isang salita mo lang of this thing that it's gonna trigger them, it's gonna help them get theirs emotionally. Minsan tinginan pa nga lang kasi you really care for that person. Lumalabas na kagad. The hard part is, pag hindi kayo medyo okay sa set, you have to keep it professional, but di ba, kailangan okay kayo. May mga ganong eksena. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword as well at times. But it was fun. It was a fun run.
But what about the public? Sometimes the public, they get involved in
They
the
do,
lives.
and sometimes it's more than the us. It becomes more about what they want, But maybe ganun talaga. They just really love us, and they feel in a way like they know everything. Basta ganun yung tao eh. Parang gusto ko ganito lang sila, ganun. But well, I think that's life.
But it's also scary, for a star in a love team to step out on their own.
A little bit, because I just been maybe so used to it, for so long. But I just remembered it just went full circle because even before the love team, I was always paired to a lot of, different partners as well. Ako yung pinapair lagi sa lahat eh. So nakaikot na rin po ako sa maraming leading ladies. And even before the love team, I was already, in a way, ENRIQUE na established ko na rin yun. I remember I had my own concert at Araneta.
Yes.
The first King of the Hill
Yes.
concert. And then, but I think there was just maybe something missing in that part of my career, and maybe that was a love team. And then the love team came along
Oo.
with this show.
Kasi sa inyo naman, love team kayo, but you both really fell in love. Yun
Yeah.
din yun eh.
Yes,
Diba?
yes. Which is
Oo.
also a good, I think it also helped a lot na you didn't really have to try, or you didn't have to try hard. It just came naturally. But that's also, I think, it becomes a problem through time. Kasi nasasanay na kayo sa isa't isa. As the years go by, siyempre, you still love each other, but yung kilig maybe is not as, it's harder to pull off now kasi people know what to expect. So it's also hard in a way as it goes by, which people don't really, I think, know or realize.
How are you today? Both of you, are you in touch? Are you in good terms?
Yeah, I would say we're not that in touch, but we were in touch still at times, especially when important things happen siguro in our lives. Maybe just to, check on each other. But yeah, I mean, my life and is also all here, and her life is there. And I just wish her all the best, of course. And I really hope everything works out for her there, and all her dreams will come true. And yeah, I'm happy for whatever is going on for her right now. Yeah. But yeah, we're just not as in touch as before.
Which
Yeah,
is
we're just
also,
so busy.
Which is also healthy.
I think it's very
I
healthy.
think in any
Yeah.
relationship, right?
Yeah.
But the good thing about hearing you now is you've both kept some form of mutual respect and at least,
Yeah.
a sense of you can reach out. Kumbaga,
Yes.
you didn't end up in moments of hate like
No,
other
no,
relationships
no. I
do.
think it was such a beautiful thing. Like what she said in their interview. Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful ending, you know. But yeah, the respect will always be there. I think we'll always have some sort of love for each other because we basically grew up together. Um, so yeah, yeah, that's how we are.
If you were to describe what she was in your life in one word, ano yun?
Well, she described me as her childhood best friend. I would consider her that. She was my childhood sweetheart, and we had some really, really great memories, and I'm just really thankful for all those memories.
So is Enrique Hill ready to love again?
Yeah, I think I just been so closed out for such a long time, and yeah, I always keep my heart open. You know, Sometimes kailangan ganun eh. That's life. You just keep moving forward, and I just trust in God. Whatever comes my way, and if He thinks that that's a person, then so be it.
Have you dated? I mean, in the years that you've been on hiatus, na
Um,
nawala ka sa aming paningin.
I've been talking to people after such a long time. I think very late na. But yeah, I think it's important. It's mahirap din mag-isa eh. 'Di ba?
I like what you said. Mahirap din mag-isa.
Of
Ba't mo
course.
naisip yun?
I mean, konti lang yung oras natin dito sa buhay. And I just feel like I'm just, also losing a lot of time with people. And I felt that, of course, being away from my family, so not just with love, but, my loved ones. I think that's what the pandemic really put things into perspective for me. It's like time is so short. It's so short. Like even this whole showbiz career, but I just felt like a blink of an eye. And when you're seated here now, like, oh my gosh, the things that I've done, it's just so quick. It's really quick. And sometimes you realize things and it's gone. So that's one thing that I really made sure that it would never leave my mind is, you have to be in the moment, enjoy, and never take things for granted. That's, I think, the number one thing. I always stick with me in my heart.
Would you still want to be in a love team at this point in your career?
At this point in my career, not necessarily. I wouldn't say that I'm closed out to it. But at this point, I think it's not really needed, I think, for me, especially at this point in my career. Yeah, and after the love team ended, the era ended, it just felt like, okay, I'm back to where I started, just me again. And now I think it's time also to explore. Because sometimes when you're in a love team, medyo, you get boxed out as well. So it's another opportunity for me to, explore, just like how I did starting out. And I think that's the exciting part of it as well. And that's why I also tried different genres na hindi ko pa nagagawa because I've just been, really focused on one certain genre for a while.
At hindi lang yun. Other than that, you also started your own production outfit. Isipin mo,
Yes.
sugal yun ah. Sugal yun in the era now, in the era of streaming.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, any business is always a sugal din naman.
Oo.
But I think it's not really a big problem because especially with streaming platforms, there's so many platforms for content right now, and we're just another outfit of content helping out, especially the Philippine industry. At that time, di ko rin masyadong nakikita yung sarili ko dun sa mga projects na pinipitch. A lot of outlets were and networks were reaching out, and wanting me to come back. And in a sense, parang I just felt like hindi ko rin bigla na lang ko umalis eh. I didn't really explain. So, the fans and the net, everyone's just wondering, where is he? Where did he go?
Na-depress ka ba nun, Enrique?
Maybe, hindi ko lang talaga na-realize. But I was, for some reason, only at times, but I was really at peace. I was at peace, my world was quiet. Yeah, it was different. It was much more quiet. Maybe at times it felt sad, but that's where I felt at peace that I haven't in a long time. And I think I was just hanging on to that.
What made you come back?
You know, I just felt like I was just missing something in the industry. Sabi ko, ay hindi naman pwedeng iiwanan ko na lang siya ng bigla. You know, I felt like I still had some sort of responsibility, not only to my fans, but to the industry that yung kinalakihan ko po. I'm gonna take charge of my career, kung ano yung mga rules na gagawin ko. Maybe play to my strengths a little bit, or something that I want to explore a little bit more, which is maybe comedy.
Comedy
Or
ka ba?
action, or alam mo
oo.
yun. I'm a very light person. Ganun ako eh. I always look at the brighter side of things. So sabi ko, and you know, getting it from my dad na komedyante. Such a clown. He just like making people laugh and making people happy. Doon ko nakuha siguro sa kanya yun. And I really enjoyed, yun ang na-miss ko actually. That magic of me nagpapasaya ng tao. That's what I miss the most. And that's what made me want to come back.
You talked about your dad. Your dad, namatay siya when you were 16 years old.
Yes.
Tama. He
Yes,
had
pa.
cancer.
Yes.
How did that change your life?
It will change a lot. You know, I was in college. Me and my brother were in college. My sister was still in elementary. My mom, we weren't really prepared. Sobrang biglaan po eh. But during that time, was the same time where I got an offer to go to ABS. Actually, nag-workshop ako sa ABS, so my dad would come with me. And lahat ng mga security guards sa ABS, sinabotan niya ng coffee, bibigyan lahat, yung mga exang sa bahay. Basta kailang may maabot lang siya kahit sino. He was just like that, you know? Ayun, and so he knew I was, you know, doing workshop starting, but I think naabutan lang niya was nag-ASAP lang ako noon. One episode of ASAP when they launched us as a new batch of Star Magic. But he never made it to see me on a TV series.
Nung namatay ang tatay mo, did you become the breadwinner at that point?
Not necessarily, but especially in the beginning, I didn't really have much projects yet. You know, when you're starting out, my mom was still working, you know, and dealing with everything. So not necessarily, but I was definitely, when things started to pick up, I was definitely helping out. So which was a big help to my mom, and I saw the opportunity there, so I decided to stop school first and concentrate in this because I had the opportunity. My brother was still studying, my sister was, so you know, I just thought at that time it was the best thing that I could do for my family. And
Malaki rin ang burden na nalagay sa shoulders mo pag inisip natin you had to stop school. Your siblings are still studying. So you took on some form of responsibility, Enrique.
yeah, maybe I would say so. But at that point, I wasn't really thinking about it as much. Maybe I was just a kid, but I just felt like, you know what, I'll just try it. School will always be there. Kung wala, at least I know that kahit paano may matutulong po.
So it's now been so many years after your father passed away. You're now a man. Diba?
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
In
I'm
a
still,
way.
I'm still, you know, kid at heart. I always wanna be, yeah.
I would have to say, and this is a major solo shift para sa career mo din.
Yes po.
Lumabas ka, tama bang sabihin na lumabas ka para sa The Secret in Prague?
Yeah, that's true.
Ito ang comeback mo eh.
Ito na talaga. It's
Ito
been
na ang
almost 6
comeback.
years, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say this might be like a full-blown. Kasi when I was doing movies like I'm Not Big Bird, I was just, you know, maybe getting a feel of things first before I really jump into it. And I think this is going like head-on na talaga.
At ngayon, ang kaibahan nito, alam ng publiko that you and Blythe in real life are not together.
Yes.
Right? Alam
Yes.
nila yon.
Yes.
Sa totoo lang, kinabahan ka ba doon?
In a sense, yeah, because it's been, you know, such a long time since I've been paired with anyone else than my love team. So there's something new about it, but there's also some familiarity because I have experienced it before. But the pressure will always be there. But I really believe in the content and the show that we have, you know, and of course our writers. And you know, more than the love and the kilig, it's really the story about family. It's a story about family. And syempre may comedy, may action, so there's a lot of levels and complications to the story. And more than these two characters, it's what happens around them kasi and how they're dealing with everything.
Oh, but
And
what was Prague like with Andrea?
it was
I mean,
really
seriously.
it was actually really beautiful. You know, there's a darkness to it, a really mysterious tone to it. But there's also a beauty in it as well. Eh.
Oo.
And that's why sabi namin, you know, why don't we use Prague? It's not really your typical place where people would talk about or you'd showcase in a movie or teleserye. But that's also why we wanted it. It was just
Pero ang
different.
cute sa inyong dalawa kasi is you're so different.
Yeah.
You're yin-yang eh.
Yeah.
May pagka-mahiyain conservative ka. Ito naman si Blythe.
Super
may
outgoing.
pagka-liberal na
Oo,
alam mo
oo,
yun.
yes, yes, yes.
Flirty-flirty na
Yeah.
aminado siya. So, that's a whole different flavor.
Exactly. I believe in balance kasi. Minsan maganda yun eh. So nagtitimplahan kayo. I think you balance each other out. And especially for her character here as Kiara, very strong woman, very go-getter. While si Mikoy laging, medyo mas reserved.
Which is so you.
Yeah, pero
Ikaw rin yun.
Kengkoy, alam mo yun, medyo...
Di pa kita ma-imagine na Kengkoy.
Well, super
Kengkoy
talaga.
Ka ba?
Yes,
Talaga?
yes, sobra.
Okay.
Yeah, super. Sa set, or minsan nga, mas makulit pa ako eh. Kay Blythe siya pa yung mas, kala mo matanda eh. Alam mo yun?
Okay.
Minsan they have to tone me down, but I just enjoy. Na-miss ko lang yung ganun.
Nung pinitch sa'yo si Blythe, sa inyong dalawa,
No, actually,
you chose her.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
Yes. I just thought that she was perfect for the role. I'm sure, well, for as Kiara, she could play this character. It's a very complex character where she's very prim, proper, but she can also, there's a little spiciness to her, which I really, she has.
Pero
she
may
has.
attraction ka nung nakita mo. Kasi you chose her.
Yeah, syempre may kailangan katapat din yun, di ba? Sa, sa dating. So, and I really felt like she was there, and she was that character, definitely.
Meet Kiara,
Are you having me followed again?
the fierce and the fabulous, but dangerous.
Your friend's name is Chiara Valtrovi, the one and only daughter of Viktor Valtrov. Loving a Valtrovi will not be easy.
Get ready, Special Agent Shano. Time to bring Mikoy in.
At this point ba, sinasabi mo ba sa sarili mo na, alam mo, ang trabaho, pero ang personal life, if I fall in love again, ayoko ng taga-showbiz?
Hindi naman necessarily. Of course, you want it mas peaceful, para sa akin, I've always wanted the quiet life. As much as I'm, in the showbiz and the limelight, yun pa rin hinahanap ko is a really quiet life. So, it may help na showbiz, na hindi showbiz, non-showbiz. But kung showbiz na naman, okay din naman. I'm not, you can always keep things private din naman eventually. If you just choose to. Yeah, I don't really, really thought of it that way. Pero it's not a big factor for me.
Kanina sinabi mo it's just you and your mom. Yung totoo, does your mom have a say in who you choose as a partner?
Well, she's never had to do so. Or, yeah, because she knows me naman. She raised me well. And she knows, that I really choose really good-hearted people, Yeah, the looks will always be there. Pero sa akin kasi at the end of the day, it's the respect. Yung puso talaga. That's what you'll see. And we'll all grow old. We won't look our best every day. But, ang kailangan ko talaga sa buhay ko, somebody that you can not only vibe with, but especially in the hardest times, that they're always going to be there, no matter what. Not just the good times, but on the hardest times, when you feel like you don't even deserve any love, or, but they still do. And they still choose you over and over again. I think that's what's the most important in life. And
Ang
if you
ganda
can find
naman
somebody
nun.
like that, para sa akin, that's worth keeping and worth fighting for.
Ang ganda naman nun yung if they keep choosing you over and over again.
Yeah. Yun naman yun. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. But during those hard times, and they're still there, and they will be the ones who bring you up and still love you and trust you and support you. Yan ang kailangan natin sa buhay.
What is or what was, I mean, you're young, you're 34, but what would
Yes.
you say was the lowest point in your life?
I was also losing my dad. I think there's a lot of low points in my life.
Losing your dad is one.
Yeah. Also during the pandemic and
Your breakup, the end of a relationship.
of course that's also
The end of an era.
Of course, a lot of changes happened, not only in me, but in the landscape of things, the future of the industry, the shutdown of a network. It was basically my home. So at that time, it was like, wow, sabay-sabay lahat. And yeah, but sometimes, these changes, it doesn't feel right. it doesn't feel real sometimes. But I think changes need to happen as well. There's some things that you don't really understand, or sometimes you don't have to understand, but you just have to accept. And I think that's the hardest thing in life that we have to realize. That there's some things you just have to accept and you have to live with. But the most important is you keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. That's all we can do.
Do you have a regret kung may babalikan ka na gusto mong baguhin na ano yun?
Just to anybody in general, I should have said like, maybe I love you more to some people, especially my dad at times. Maybe I should have maybe done some things better in some aspects. But at that time, I was maybe a different person, wasn't as mature. But I think those are the learnings that I believe everybody meet in your life is also a huge lesson in learning.
Do you have a favorite life verse or Bible verse? No pressure. I always ask my guests.
Yes, because there are times like where sometimes a lot of things happen in life that really test your faith. But there's this one Proverbs, I believe it's 3:5-6 or something. Trust everything in your heart to the Lord and lean on own understandings. I think that's what is sometimes we really don't understand, what goes on. Bakit ito yung nangyayari? Bakit ito yung nawawala? 'Di ba? Bakit ito yung pero usually laging pong may kapalit 'yan. God has a plan for you. Just trust in him and it's only his way, and we just have to believe.